Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's On the Fly. I'm your host, Gene DeFilippo, and our guest this week is the very talented Director of Athletics, Lisa Campos, at the University of Texas at San Antonio. Welcome, Lisa.
Hey, Gene. Thanks so much for having me on.
Oh, my gosh. What a wonderful job you've done at UTSA. And let's get started by telling everybody how excited you have to be going to the American Athletic Conference with all your sports.
You know, we are so excited. The community is really behind us. And, you know, we've been at this for about a year and a half. I think it was October of 21 that we were invited, and we've been working towards July 1 ever since. And July 1 will officially be in the American. And, you know, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Conference USA and our time there. And it was such a special time. I have a special connection to Conference USA, spending a lot of years in that conference in my years at UTEP, and a lot of respect for Judy McLeod and Keisha and all the staff there. So it's going to be a tough goodbye, saying goodbye to people you've worked with for a long time, but really looking forward to July 1 and making this leap.
Okay, Lisa, you said it's been several years that UTSA has been trying to put itself in the best position that it can, and you're going to the AAC. What are some of the things that you had to do? What are some of the facility improvements that you had to do to get ready for this July 1 and your entrance into the AAC?
Yeah, so facilities definitely was an area of emphasis for our coaches when I first got here. And probably almost all of our facilities needed to be upgraded. And we're really fortunate to have great donors and supporters and philanthropic support and partnerships with the city and the county. And this was our first project that we knew we needed to get the hub of UTSA athletics, and that's the building, the Roadrunner Athletic Center of Excellence Center that I'm in today is really phenomenal. And then we had made a commitment years ago to women's soccer, track and field. You know, they play at our Park West campus, and they had no locker rooms, no team meeting space, beautiful fields to compete in, but no back of the house support services. So we were really fortunate that the Bexar County, which is the county that we reside in, they supported, giving us $8 million to complete that project. And part of that will be community engagement. We'll have community events out there. But here in the next few weeks, we'll be cutting the ribbon on the Park West Field House, and we're really excited for our soccer and track and field student athletes. And then the next project ahead of us is a basketball practice facility, basketball and volleyball practice facility that's much needed. We have to make improvements in baseball, in softball, in tennis. We're really fortunate that our golf teams play at TPC, where the Royer Open is. So they have incredible facilities out there. And then what most people forget about is the internal infrastructure as well. We had to put a ton of dollars into our broadcast. You know, there's a different level expectation in the American on how many games we're going to be responsible for broadcasting for ESPN. And so that's a major investment. And luckily, when we built this facility that I'm in, we had built a broadcast room in there, but now it's putting in that infrastructure. So that's been a huge undertaking for our staff to build out this broadcast room and be able to broadcast our games in the quality that the American would like us to. So a lot of on the facilities front, and then of course the internal infrastructure from staffing to higher quality marketing. I mean, all the things, communications, social media. So again, we don't want to just be in the American. We want to be competitive in the American, and it's going to take the support of San Antonio and to make these investments that are going to make us competitive.
Yeah. Joining a new conference, and I did it at Boston College when we left the Big East and went to the ACC. It often reminded me of when I sent my first child to college. I was happy as heck for them, but sad for me. And so you always have mixed feelings when you do something like that.
That's right.
Lisa, let's talk about your football team. 11-3 last year. You won the Conference USA Championship. Tell us about your coach and your team and how exciting. And you know what? Talk about play anywhere, anytime, any place. You've got Houston on the schedule, Army, Tennessee, plus all the AAC schools. You're not afraid of anybody.
You know, I'm gonna give Jeff credit. He put that schedule together. I'm joking. He gives me a hard time for putting that schedule together. But going back to hiring Jeff and, back in December 2019, I tell the story often that within the first 5 minutes of meeting Jeff, it was obvious that him and I were aligned and he was going to be a great fit for San Antonio, for UTSA, for the state of Texas. He's a Texas guy. And we just knew it. What I didn't anticipate was how quickly he turned this program around. And he got hired in December 19, March 2020, COVID hit. So as you can imagine, the challenges that he had in year one, he's trying to put his staff together. He's trying to get to know the guys. And in March, we send everyone home. And for him to do what he did in year one back in 2020, that is when I realized how special Jeff is, what a work ethic he has, how much respect he has from all the high schools around the entire state of Texas, what a recruiting guru he is. And so I'm not surprised the last 2 years to win back-to-back Conference USA championships, to go to the bowl games. We're only going to be in our 13th season of football. Wow. And so just think about that, 13 years and in the last two to win back-to-back conference championships, pretty amazing.
Well, it's amazing. How many people, how many students attend UTSA?
Yeah, so we're over 35,000 students.
Wow. Wow, that's great. And tell everybody where you play your football and your basketball games.
Yeah, so we have a beautiful 5 campuses that make up UTSA, and of course, a lot of our athletics happens on the main campus, as we call it. But then we have the Alamo Dome, and we're really fortunate to have a partnership with the city of San Antonio, who owns the Alamo Dome. The Alamo Bowl is played in the Alamo Dome. XFL is playing there now. It is an incredible facility, but what makes it really incredible is our fans, and to have over I can't remember if it's 43,000 fans in the stadium for that Conference USA championship. The atmosphere is electric. And, we've been accused of pumping in crowd noise. That does not happen. We don't have to do that because our fans are just so proud and so loud, and they just fill it up. And San Antonio is a really special community. So we're really fortunate to play in the heart of downtown, to play in a facility that has so many amenities, and it's a great recruiting tool.
Sure. You also had a near sellout against Baylor when you hosted Baylor last year, didn't you?
Yeah, a couple of years ago. Again, yeah, that was our goal. We had Defend the Dome initiative, and we invited, we're Military City, USA, a huge military presence here in San Antonio that we're really proud of. And UTSA Athletics is really proud to be affiliated with that. So yeah, we had record-breaking crowds in that Baylor game, and thanks to the military and an appreciation to them.
I imagine you'll have a great crowd when Army comes to play, with all the military there and your fans, all around the state. I'll bet you that will be a great atmosphere.
Absolutely. Anytime Army, we get them on our schedule, we know that San Antonio military is going to be here, and it's a really fun game. It's a hard game for our football team and our coaches to prepare for, but it's a really exciting event, really, for the city of San Antonio.
Sure. Lisa, your multimedia rights contract was up. You put it out for bid, and you went with Playfly Sports. Can you talk about what you were looking for, how Playfly met your needs, and are you really happy that you made this choice?
Yeah, absolutely. This is what's really special. UTSA as an entire university is on such an upward trajectory. And the athletics department, like other departments, we're on that same trajectory. And we have leadership that's not afraid to fall forward. We're not afraid to try new things. We're not afraid to go after partnerships that are going to be innovative, that are going to just think outside the box. And we felt like Playfly fit all of that they aligned. You look at their trajectory and it's aligning with our trajectory. And so there was a lot of parallels with that. Obviously, the personnel and the folks who run Playfly are so experienced and just a great group of individuals. But we knew that we had something special here at UTSA, and it was time to put our brand out to market, and we wanted to see. We wanted to open that up and see what our value was. And I think Playfly really recognized the value of San Antonio, the 7th largest city in the nation. They saw the value in UTSA. I mean, we are the future of what America is going to look like. We're a Hispanic serving institution. We have 35,000 students. We're so multicultural in our university and our city. And so I think Playfly really appreciated a lot of those unique attributes and characteristics of the university. And then you look at the athletics program and what we're doing right now. You got baseball's in the top 25 for the first time in program history. You got men's tennis is ranked as 34th in the nation. You got women's basketball, who we have an incredible coach in Karen Aston, who's turning that program around. I don't have to say anything about football, that's been talked about. So I think they recognized our value, and we recognized how Playfly is going to be really innovative for us.
Yes, that's one of the things that Playfly does best, is they take what you have and they really, really broaden it and help you to really help your brand, to expand your brand. I can also tell you this, being part of Playfly was also very impressed with the director of athletics at UTSA, and that made a huge difference. And we really wanted that property. So I'm glad that we're a team. You're a woman athletic director. I have 2 daughters. One of my daughters played basketball at Villanova. The other daughter played field hockey at Boston College. I know how much they benefited from intercollegiate athletics and the experiences they learned. Why is it important that we have women in high places in our athletic departments, and expand a little bit on what Patty Phillips told us last week?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like you talked about, I mean, sports, you gain so much from sports. And I was really fortunate that I played high school sports and youth sports. Wasn't talented enough to be Division I, but the lessons learned and how that it's just really important. But more so, my passion really lies in serving students and serving higher education. And that's my background. And you see, here at UTSA, like other universities, there are more and more women going to colleges and more opportunities for women in intercollegiate athletics. And so it's really a privilege and opportunity to be the face of and a role model to that younger generation. And so many before me have laid the groundwork. And I'm so thankful for all those folks who helped open the doors, and men and women, to my opportunities in athletics. But it really is an opportunity. And for me here in San Antonio, to be a Latina, to be a role model from the kindergartners all the way to the high school seniors to come to UTSA and to get an education and to reach the dreams that they have.
You know what? The student athletes at UTSA, particularly the women, are fortunate to have a role model like you.
I appreciate that.
We don't need more Lisa Campos in intercollegiate athletics. Speaking of what you've done at UTSA, one of your first jobs was to develop a strategic plan. And that was based on excellence and integrity and unity. Can you expand on that a little bit for us?
Yeah, so it's hard to believe I've been here for a little over 5 years. It's gone by so quickly, and half of that was in COVID. But when I first got here, we knew what a special place and what a sleeping giant UTSA athletics was, and we knew also that conference realignment is inevitable, right? It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And we got together and said, okay, how do we position ourselves for when all of that happens, and how do we best position ourselves for our student athletes and our coaches that we're serving? And so we got to work and got a ton of feedback from all of our constituents, whether that was donors, our student athletes, the faculty, students on this campus. And we really made a commitment that our Roadrunner game plan was going to be a document that was live, that we talked about in every department meeting, that we gave updates every quarter about what the progress we were making on that document. And it wasn't just going to be a plan that sat on a shelf. And to be really intentional like that, to get the support, to raise the resources we needed to do that. The beautiful building I'm in today is a testament to sticking to the plan, sticking with the process. And so but to your point, or to your question, those three words, that's what we heard over and over from our department, that we do things with excellence, that we want to be the best, and we want to do it with excellence, that we do things with integrity. And when we talk about integrity, it's about doing what you say you're going to do, have integrity. And then we want to be a family, and that's a unity. And so that's really carried us in our culture.
Speaking of the building that you're in, a lot of people may not know that that new building has 97,000 square feet. It's priced at nearly $41 million. Tell us about it.
It's the hub of UTSA athletics. It's really exciting. And if you, I know the listeners can't see the smile on my face, but it just really brings me joy every time I think about this facility, because it was a vision. It was a vision of bringing this entire department together. People often hear me tell the story that when my very first day on the job, my GPS is taking me away from campus, and I called a colleague and said, okay, I must have the wrong address. And he said, oh no, our offices are off campus. We don't work on campus. And that was mind boggling to me. There just wasn't space on our campus. And then I started learning more about our sports medicine department was operating out of a trailer. Our football team room was a converted basketball court that we had laid tile down and put cubicles. And you know what? That's what happens when you have a young program. It's the opportunity to keep growing. And that's what we had a vision to put together this facility that's going to be for our current student athletes, for our coaches, and for our recruits. And it's a one-stop shop, essentially. Football now has locker rooms. They now have, football went from practicing at a high school to renting out rec center fields to now we have our own fields to actually practice on. And we have our strength, our weight room, we have sports medicine, we have an academic center. And the really special part of all of this, though, is with the exception of men's and women's basketball and volleyball, every administrator and every coach is in this building. And it's really special because all of our coaches interact with each other. They interact with football coaches, which is sometimes not heard of. We're all in the same building on the same floor, and we're all interacting with each other, and it makes it really unique.
You know, when I first came to Boston College, all the coaches were together in one building. It was crowded and the facilities weren't great, but the morale and the communication between all the coaches was terrific. Yeah. And then, of course, you know, football needed its own building, and so we put them out there. And soccer and tennis went in another area. And yes, the facilities were great, but you do lose that togetherness and that seeing all the coaches together every day. It's pretty special.
It really is.
Lisa, everywhere you've been a real stickler for student athletes being true students. And I'm sure that those student athletes at UTSA are real students with great grades.
Absolutely. You know, my background is in student affairs and higher education. My my master's is in student affairs. My doctorate's in educational leadership. I worked on the student affairs side of things. So if you couldn't figure it out, academics is really important to me. And for most of our students, they're not going to play professional, and getting that degree is really important. And as a first generation college graduate, education is even that much more important to me. And on this campus, we serve a lot of first generation college graduates. So education is really important. And we emphasize that with our coaches, and they do an incredible job of recruiting students who align with that and who are going to really care about academics. And then we also have an incredible academic staff for those students that might need a little bit more motivation to help them get through this. But through all of this, to have over a 3.0 GPA as an entire department, for the majority of our sport programs, again, to have above a 3.0, well above, we have, student athletes who are studying pre-law, pre-med, just all the, computer science, cybersecurity. There's so many talented student athletes who truly do care about their academics, and to graduate at over an 85% graduation success rate. It's really a testament to our coaches. It's a testament to the student athletes that they're bringing in, and then a lot of help from our academic support services for sure.
Yeah, I've always said that if academics is important to the director of athletics, it'll be important to the head coaches and the assistant coaches and the student athletes. And they're certainly getting great support from the top. Well, we're out of time on this week's podcast. I'm your host, Gene DeFilippo, and I want to thank our very talented Director of Athletics, Lisa Campos, for being our guest. Thanks for your time this time, and we'll see you next time.